Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Anarchy podcast. I'm your host Super, and here with me we have the legendary old fag James Rustles. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for having me on. How are you?
No problem, and I'm doing quite well as we're doing an episode on you. So to get this started, let's hear a little bit about the man himself. So can you describe a few things about yourself and your experience
Sure, yeah.
being on Anarchy?
Yeah, definitely. I guess going back to the beginning, I started playing Minecraft in Alpha 1.1.0. So September 2010. I just saw one of my friends running through some like snow biome in this game that I'd never seen before, and it looked amazing. Like the sandbox aspect of it. So I was like, wow, this looks good. Fast forward to 20, I think right at the start of 2013. Um, I was playing on the website, so on Minecraft.net, you could play Minecraft online, like in the web browser, just like I think Dr. Smurf was saying in a previous episode, and that was a lot of fun. And then yeah, basically after that, saw a post on Reddit speaking about the server. I think it was on the Minecraft subreddit in about 2013, right at the beginning. Pretty much from 2013 to the beginning of 2016 is the time that I spent on 2BTT.
Well, thank you very much for that slight description. What brought you to Anarchy as like you said about the Reddit post, but like you only started Minecraft in 2010 and only started Anarchy in 2013. Like what was it that drew you to Anarchy?
I think, like a lot of people that you've had on in the past, playing on servers and online when it came out was cool, but there was a lot of rules. So you couldn't say certain things, you couldn't do certain things. I mean, some of it makes sense, I guess, for the servers that were around at the time. They didn't want people destroying everything that people had built, whatever. But there wasn't really a server that I knew of that let you do what you want. I think I'd found maybe one or two that did, but they didn't have like any plugins, any anti cheats, so anyone could fly and do whatever they want. Um, so big, it was a very big gap between having really locked down servers with just too many rules, and then servers that were completely open, completely vanilla, that would just completely get broken within a couple of days of opening. Um, so 2BTT was something that I found, as I said, kind of at the beginning of 2013, and it really drew me because it had a community that had already been around for, you know, um, 2 years, and yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for that for that explanation. So you've been on Anarchy for how many years?
Oh, so it would have been right at the beginning. So it was either at the end of 2012 or the beginning of 2013 because I've been looking through my screenshots, and the first screenshot I've got is right at the beginning of 2013 of some chunk errors on 2B2T. So I would say 2013 to, I mean, I finished playing in 2018. So uh,
So would you say a good 4 or 5 years?
yeah, I'd say 5 years.
Now, in those 5 years, what do you think you're most known for?
I guess probably the thing I'm most known for would be the bases that I've been at, as well as the blog that I run. Just taking a look at the stats at the minute, and we're sitting at about 410,000 people that have read articles on the blog. So I'd say, yeah, that's probably the thing I'm most known for.
Yeah, I've seen the blog. Links will be in the description. It's all a great read. It's a jumble of information and bases and a lot of good things to do with 2B and Anarchy in general. So that will be in the description for all you viewers who want to look at it. Anyway, um, with the 2B blog, I just want to go on there. So what's your experience with it? Like what came to be the 2B blog?
So there wasn't really anywhere apart from the 2B2T website where you could read about 2B2T. So there were the face punch threads that you could go through, but the mods on face punch were just absolute dicks. Like for instance, Postal, the mod that everyone knows that was an old fag, who would just ban people for no reason, delete threads, lock threads. So we had no idea how long we were going to be allowed to stay on Face Punch. So my idea really behind it was to create a website that had everything you would need about 2B2T. It would have forums, it would have image galleries, it would have a place where people could upload their own articles to. Um, just kind of with the time that I had IRL, I guess. I kind of left it at the point where it had articles on it, and then people could submit articles using the email address or just getting in touch with me in game, which a lot of people did. Um, and yeah, just kind of filled it up with articles about 2B2T. I think one of the most read posts on the 2B2T blog is how to survive on 2B2T. Um, and
It's
yeah,
got to be
it
helpful
just
here and there.
yeah, definitely. And it just went from there, really. More and more people kind of submitted their articles. It's still open, so if people want to write stuff, they're more than welcome to submit articles to it. And yeah, really, it's just a website where people could go to and read experiences about 2B2T. I mean, it goes back to 2014, so there's plenty of
Oh,
history
it's
there
quite a few
and
years.
things to read. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's just that,
quite
really,
a
just somewhere.
backlash, or not backlash, quite a backlog of information per se. But
Yeah.
and going to something else you stated about your accomplishments, your bases. So can you give us a little bit of rundown of the bigger bases that you've been at in your time?
Yeah, so I think through temp maps and kind of friends of friends, I ended up becoming quite good friends with Sato, and obviously joining his bases. We kind of did the whole thing there with like Fenrir and Asgard and those kind of bases there. Getting friends with Kane's Law and Aureus, the City of Gold, being kind of friends with Fit MC, who at the time was friends with other people such as the Russell League. That kind of then brought us to the KKK base, which again let us meet more people to go to more bases. I mean, I don't think I could think of all of the bases that I've been to because there's been quite a few. But yeah, I'd say those are probably the main bases that are most well known.
That's pretty good. So what are your experiences with those other old fags, if you will, if on those other bases? How do you think they would treat you now that you've less not just left Anarchy, but you've left the community per se?
Yeah, I don't really know to be honest. I mean, overall, my time on 2B was quite good. The people that I knew, we were friends with until I left, pretty much. Yeah, there were some issues here and there, but everyone had those. But I don't know. I think if I went back, it would be a fairly positive thing. I think it would be good to kind of pick up where we left off with some people. I mean, with some older players, I'm still in contact with.
Like who?
We've still. So, oh God, like Kane's Law, Fit, Spartan. Um, yeah, lots of people. XCC2. Um, everyone who was involved with the Vault server, because there's all that kind of side of it as well. But yeah, no, we've still got our old chats are still active all the way back to 2012, 2013, 2014. They're still around. Maybe not as busy as they were when everyone played, but we definitely stay in touch.
Nice. So you'd say that your relationships with others have stayed resilient over the years.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
it is really always good to have that kind of group you affiliate with, and the group that you always go with, and even out of the communist, either even out of the community that you play with them with. It's good to socialize. Anyway, um, with the history of 2B2T, you being an old fag, that's one of the main topics I want to bring to you. How do you
Hmm.
think it's been changed since you've joined in 2013 and then ending in 2018? How do you think it's changed?
Um, 2B2T is a server that always changed, even when we played many, many years ago. It's a server that was rocked back and forth from exploit to exploit and drama to drama. It had its good times and its bad times. I think 2B2T was always a server that was different to everyone who played. Everyone who played had a different relationship with the server, based on who your friends were on the server, even if you based alone versus basing with people, your time zone. So there would be different feelings that the server would give you depending on what time you played. So I think, I don't think it's changed that much. I think that maybe, I think that in this modern time of 2B2D, a lot of people are perhaps trying to act like how they think Anarchy players should act like, rather than being
Like cold and
themselves.
distant
And
and all that fun stereotypes.
yeah, I guess I'm really not too sure, because I'm not really too sure what they're even trying to be. That's the thing with a lot of it. It feels like a lot of people are just trying to put on an act, maybe, to say this is how people should act on Anarchy servers. But I think that's probably the big difference between now and then, where back then kind of everyone had their own thing, their own personality that they would
Their
be
own
known for.
identity that they affiliate Anarchy with.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Exactly that. So I think that's the biggest difference. Now there's a lot of people talking, so it's difficult to get just caught in the noise, I think, and to be hidden by just all the different voices.
Yeah, is it maybe that since there's so many people now and there's so many people who hide themselves in the crowd, it's hard to figure out the one who are exceptional.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a few more hundred people playing, than than there were back
Yeah,
in the day when
just a
we played
couple
at any
more,
time.
just a couple more.
Yeah, a couple here and there. Like when I would log in, kind of on the weekends, there would be like, I don't know, 25 to 40 people playing, and everyone kind of knew each other. The people that spoke in chat, in public, we would all kind of know each other. We all kind of know what everybody was like. So yeah, it was a lot easier to know who was who. So I think now it's definitely a lot more difficult to do that.
Yeah, it's just one big clusterfuck of people and
Yeah.
usernames. Um, when you say the new age of anarchy, like, do you mean the new way that, say, 2B's headed in 2019, late 2018? Because, like, do you remember the month that you ended off on 2B?
Yeah, so it was April, the beginning of April 2016.
Okay, so a lot has come and gone on 2B since then. So how do
Yeah.
you yeah, a lot. So how do you think that, changes 2B, because 2B2T, everyone knows it as that one concrete server of anarchy and just absolute destruction, but things can change very easily. It's quite a simple formula, but it can be so easily malleable and changed with the passage of time and action. So do you think the new modern age of anarchy in late 2018 and 2019 is going to be a lot different than it was when you were playing?
Yeah, I do. I think most of that maybe comes to the public, accessibility to hack clients. And a lot of people playing know how Minecraft works. So they know the back end of it. They understand the code, and they know, how various things work and why they
Everyone's
work
knowing
in
more.
certain ways. Yeah, and with that, you have bigger groups of people trying to exploit that. So yeah, I'm not too sure kind of where it's heading, but I do know that it's very difficult. I think maybe for the admin to um, kind of keep an anarchy system running while at the same time trying to not allow these people to kind of take over with various exploits that are currently available. So yeah, I think kind of anarchy will always be anarchy. But yeah, as you said, kind of the flavor would change, but I think it's too volatile to be able to predict really.
So like the same beast, just with a different face.
Yeah, exactly that.
So maybe so it's probably just at its core same anarchy, but just changing, developing, evolving, if you will. Um, do you?
Like it's always done. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been talking a lot about 2B. Now let's take a little road trip over to Constantium and your history with that. So can you just give us a, a decent, summary, if you will, about your time with Constantium?
Yeah, sure. So I was kind of getting bored with the drama on 2B probably since the very beginning of 2016. There's been episodes on it. I mean, you'd need an entire episode just on the first 4 months of 2016 in 2B2T. But essentially, yeah. So I was kind of getting tired of what was happening. It was very obvious to me from the start what was going on, and I was looking at other servers. And again, I kind of found myself in the same predicament that I was in at the beginning of 2012, of not really having a server that was true to Anarchy. And I came across this, various servers, for instance, and they wouldn't match. Some had TP, some had, other systems like a currency system. And for me, coming from 2B2T, that just didn't feel right. So yeah, I found Constantium, kind of joined. There was like, maybe like 3 or 4 people that would play. And speaking with the admin, I just wanted to kind of make sure that this wasn't like the other servers. To basically ask, why are you running this server? What do you have in mind for this server? And it was basically a space for people to kind of do what they want and do whatever they want with it. I think the slogan is like "do as you will" or "do what do what you want" or something along those lines. Um, yeah, so I kind of found that server, joined it. Um, at this point, I'd been telling my current base mates and my close friends on 2B that I was looking at other servers. So I'd given them other servers that I'd tried, and they tried them, and they didn't like them. But Constantium really was the first server that we tried that we really liked. So yeah, at first one of our base mates kind of joined, and then the rest of the base kind of followed, and we set up a small base, a 400 base, and it just kind of grew from there. To be honest, it kind of felt how 2B2T should be, with an admin that was kind of listening to us, and we could kind of, point the server in the correct direction where it should be, where it shouldn't be, where people could have access to things other people couldn't, and so on and so forth. Really.
Thank you very much for that. Now, with you saying that Constantium was it felt like what 2B was supposed to feel like. Do you think that's more prevalent now with Constantium's lower player base, but still large for Anarchy standards, but still, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's what 2B was imagined is maybe that's what Constantium is right now.
Yeah, I guess so. It definitely feels like how 2B2T would be now if Russia didn't join.
That's
That's for
exactly what I
sure.
was. Okay,
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was meaning. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, it still hits. Obviously with the Q1 2B now being so high, we're pushing 100 players on the server most evenings, so it's still getting quite a few people on it.
Yeah, and speaking, obviously everything from the last few minutes have been Constantium. Weren't you part of the administrator, like the administrators on Constantium?
No, no. It was a good meme for a while. I guess because I was one of the first people that kind of joined over to it. Everyone was like, I wonder how he found that server. But obviously, all the people that I'd spoken to when I was thinking about leaving 2B knows that I had looked at various servers that were all terrible until we found this one, which already had, a few months of history by the time we even came to it. I think where that kind of came from, I guess, is yeah, partly from me being one of the first people to join, and then us having an input into making the server a better place to be. So, for instance, we spoke with the admin and we made sure that the Thunder hack had been patched. The correct settings were put into the anti cheat to not allow Thunder to hit all the players and things like that. Really, we kind of knew um, how tricky it was to run a server like 2B2T. So we were just kind of, making sure that the admin had, checked all the boxes that need to be checked on an Anarchy server. Yeah, so I think that kind of gave the impression that maybe we had a bit more access than others, I guess.
Thanks for that. So you're in no kind of position or a management, or no position of management in Constantium. You're not in any part of that because there was a
No,
long rumor that you were Phantom.
yeah, I played into it as well, which probably didn't help. I would tell people to donate to the server, and I would give them I would give them
Yeah,
various,
no, that's
like
not.
weapons and things, and it probably didn't help that I was joking around like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
I've never had any more access or say in how things are run than any other player on the server.
Okay, well, thanks for the clarification. Now we've talked about Constantium. Let's go back to the main topic of two B two T. So
Yes.
how did you come to go to such bases like Aureus and Fenrir, and if you've been to Asgard too, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
We
All
founded that
those
base.
Asgard too, or any others. How did you be able? Now you have already said earlier, that call it, that you got a lot of connections over the years on 2B2T and Anarchy. So what
Yeah.
do you think propelled you per se to go to these bases?
Yeah, it's the right place at the right time, I suppose. As I said in the past, some people I met in temp maps. So in right at the beginning of 2013 and 2014, I believe there were. I believe it was 2013. Definitely in 2014 at the beginning there were temp maps, because the lag was just so bad that you physically could not play because every 30 seconds it was lagging back 25 seconds. So you really you
That's pretty
couldn't.
crippling.
Yeah, so in 1 minute you had 10 seconds to actually do anything in, and the player count was going down. Like it was really bad, it was dying. So House put a temp map on while he was fixing the issues. I know at the time, actually, he had sent quite a few people, including myself, some TPS reports from like the back end of the server to see if anybody knew how to fix it. Like it was that bad that he just couldn't find anyone that could explain why it was lagging. But anyway, so we were in those temp bases. I would meet other people and yeah, be invited to bases. I think one of the bases that helped make everything fall into place for me was the Gape. So the Gape was just a bit further on than 700 base. So the Gape kind of started around, I think it was 1,000 by 1,000. And we would basically just dig 128 square straight to bedrock. And we would call it the Gape. And it was fun because people who kind of, I guess, disagreed with our um, with our desire to do that, came and like lava casted it, and there were like fights over the territory, and yeah, it was interesting. So we would make the gate, and then that kind of got a few of us together that kind of had the same interests, and we enjoyed being in each other's company. So we would make another base with each other. Eventually, the Gape 2 became a thing, which was much bigger, much further away from spawn, and with more people. Um, and then at which point we had already been speaking with Sato at that point, and he then sent most of us an invite to a new base that he was starting. And he was saying,
Oh.
this is, I know that a few of you have based with me before. We had a good time. I'm thinking of making a new base, and I would like you to come from the start this time, not to just join halfway through. And that was Fenrir. So he basically scouted terrain and found a really nice place, and invited us to it. So we would go and we would build this Fenrir base, and kind of all the history behind that. And then from there, Asgard 2 became a thing, and Fenrir essentially was abandoned. I went to Fenrir, and we went to Asgard 2. At which point, Asgard 2 fell because Allmonger appeared at the base, who at the time was
Yeah.
against, everything we were we were standing
God, it's
for
such a
sure.
shame. All these bases just if only they
Yeah.
could have been preserved at least.
Yes. Well, yeah. I suppose that's where the vault kind of came into. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
So
that
after,
that, that thing was a beauty, but
yeah,
but nevertheless, go on.
yeah, no. So yeah, after Asgard 2 fell, that's when the third incursion started. And then that third incursion allowed us to meet so many more people, and kind of, become friends with so many others. So over the course of 2 years, from base to base to base to base, it kind of snowballed into something really big. And I mean, at its peak, I would say maybe 80% of the player base were all connected to each other just based on maybe, a couple of mutual friends. The server had definitely become very polarized. So you had two groups on the server, but everyone was connected somehow because I would base with people in the other group at
And
some
then
other
they would base
base.
with who, and then with who, and then with
That's
who.
it.
Just
Yeah.
one
So
big
everyone,
orgy of usernames.
that's it precisely. So although there were two main groups that were kind of fighting against each other, when you look at it a bit closer, the people individually kind of were friends with the people on on the other side, as it were. Um, Again, which is the usual politics on 2B2T, I guess.
Got it. Thanks for that. That's very informative. Thank you. Now, if you think you go back to 2B2T and Anarchy, do you think you'd be welcomed again? Like, obviously, you're this renowned old fag around the Anarchy community, but do you think you'll be invited to these bases again and reinstated in these groups?
I think so. Yeah. For the most part, I think so. I have had quite a few base invites since I left. Even towards the end of last year, there were people that were starting bases, and they were like, "Hey, you should come back to 2B2T and come to this base that we just started." So yeah, I think I would be. Um, I think due to the amount of old players that have left, and just kind of the age of the newer players, I think maybe I would be a lot less known now for sure.
You would have had a loss.
Um, yeah, I don't think I would be known very much at all on the server now, apart from maybe the few older players that still play.
Oh well, I'm sure you're known amongst many other friends, but still, do you think your time with 2B Constantium and Anarchy in general, like, do you think how has it been? Do you think it's been harborous to yourself, or do you feel like it's been cold and unhearting and unforgiving?
Oh no, I think overall it's been really good. I think it's been very positive. I mean, the people that I've met over the years, as I said, we still speak to each other. We still, share a lot with each.
Sorry, everybody. James just muted himself.
Oh shit! When
No,
did
no, it's
I?
fine. Just start at the top. It's fine.
Yeah, cool. So you basically asked how my um, time on 2B and Constantium has been, if it's been good or bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think with kind of my time on 2B2T, it's been good overall, As I said, I've been speaking to people still that I've known way back then that I met when I first joined the server. We still talk. I've actually met some of them in real life, on my travels. It's like, hey, I'm kind of, near you, and we kind of have a drink or something like that. So, no, I think overall it's been a very positive experience. Played on 2B2T. I mean, yeah, there's dumb drama here and there. It's same thing on Constantium. I
It all
think that's
comes
just,
down to one thing, and that's just being, belonging.
yeah, that's it. I think all Anarchy servers for sure kind of follow the same pattern. But no, overall, I think it's been great. I think it's been a really positive experience.
Oh, I'm so happy to I'm so happy to hear that. But I do have to ask, why don't you play much anymore?
It's kind of a mix of a lot of things, I guess. Just the time to play, really. Between things like work and traveling, it's quite difficult to dedicate so much time. I think with 2B now, as well as we were saying, with so many people on, you really have to be able to dedicate quite a bit of time to it. If you want to build up your name, if you want to
Oh
build
yeah,
up a
no,
reputation.
people devote their lives to these kind of things.
Yeah, and it's doing that that will get you recognised. And I don't know if I've just got the time for it anymore. Maybe in the future, I'll play as a filthy casual. But for now, yeah, it's just not enough time.
Oh, well, thanks a lot. To do with groups on 2B and Anarchy in general, really. What do you think of the newish groups of 2B now that a lot of the old people and groups are gone? Because you were so well and informed and put into the society of the old 2B2T. But how do you feel about the new ones like Voco, Imperium, all those fun little groups?
Yeah, I think they're all doing their thing. I think they all bring something different to the playing field. They all have their positives. They all have their negatives. I think it's good. 2B2T always needs groups. It's always had groups from the beginning. The four channers against the face punchers. It's always had groups. So I think that's a really good thing. As long as they are bringing something different, and they're not just maybe being the same as other people. Yeah, I think it's a really great thing.
Yeah. Now you talk about the 4chans and and the face punchers. So how do you think 2B has evolved since then? Actually, have I already asked that question?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Let me just change that question then. How do you think Minecraft has evolved since you were starting?
Minecraft, I think, got worse for me personally. After pretty
Really?
much after 1.8, I wasn't a fan of some of the decisions that Mojang were making. In fact, I've just been speaking to some people about this, looking at the new snapshots. I kind of feel like it's becoming more of an RPG game than a sandbox game.
How
Um,
so?
like, I don't know. I guess with all the changes that are being made to terrains and just adding in things that people don't really need as much, like the technical side of Minecraft is changing a lot now. 2014 is completely going to change, how villagers work, how iron farms work, how almost every machine works. And that I think is going to have a huge impact on 2B2T and all Anarchy servers, because all the players that have their technical machines set up, they're now going to, be rendered useless. So they're gonna have to rebuild all their empires again, and they're gonna have to rebuild all their infrastructure. And I think a lot of it is just unnecessary. I guess I think Mojang are just changing things for the sake of it sometimes.
Yeah,
But
I heard I
yeah,
hear a few people here and there talking about villagers and the trading between it called slave trading.
yeah, yeah, it's an interesting name for it. Definitely fits in with Anarchy servers for sure. Yeah.
Oh my god, it fits so perfectly. Now I feel that's the end of my questioning for you. If you would like to, anybody who's listening in the Discord right now would like to ask some questions for James. I know Diggin Builder asked a question. The question was, uh, yes. Do you think the mainstream implications of Discord has changed the way people base together and make friends on Anarchy?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, for sure. So uh, back in the day when I was young, we all used to use Skype, which was okay. You'd have kind of your separate group. It wasn't the best thing to use, but it was the most popular thing to use. And Skype kind of allowed us to at least talk to our base mates offline, kind of thing, where we didn't have to all be on 2B2T. With Discord coming along, yeah, I think it's definitely changed how it works. Whether it's from kind of a public Discord it's moved the server. So 2B2T isn't run just on the Minecraft server anymore. It's spilled out onto all these other platforms, and yeah, I think
Whether
it's
it be
made a
the Reddit.
huge. Yeah, exactly. So like Reddit and Discord, people are meeting other people. So we don't just need temp maps and April Fool's maps anymore. People can meet people through Discord now, and yeah, I think that's changed quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think IMMs has a question for you, but I think that's the end of the questioning for us and the community. Anyway, um, is there anything you want to say as the final words of James Russell's for now?
I think kind of just to echo what we've said before, 2B2T is a great server. It's the original Anarchy server and how Minecraft should be played. And I think if you spend the time, if you devote the time to it, you really can build up a great name for yourself. Just kind of be careful not to be caught up in the noise of everyone else. But yeah, it really gives the opportunity to everyone to do whatever they want. But yeah, that's probably it.
Thank you so much for your input. Now, I have a question, actually, a couple questions from the community. They were just late to it. IMMs
Yeah.
asks, what do you think of FitMC?
Huh, interesting. Yeah, I still talk to Fit
Oh,
MC.
actually, no, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
YouTubers like FitMC.
Okay. I think it's difficult. I think sometimes it's easy maybe to run out of things to make videos of. Um, hmm. I think overall it's a good thing. I think it could be bad when it starts bringing in a lot of new people, maybe.
And like
Um,
unwanted attention.
yeah, yeah. So 2B has always had that where people don't want it to be too well known. You want the server to be alive, but not too well known. Now, with all the YouTubers making videos of 2B2T and the algorithm really loving 2B2T, you can see that the queue is just unbearable now. Um,
Yeah,
so
without
I think,
priority
yeah,
queue, you're screwed.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, I get why the YouTubers are making videos of 2B2T. I guess they just need to know that it's I don't want to use the word sacred because that's kind of a bit too far, but it's a very delicate place, and if it gets unbalanced, then
It's like a
um,
pendulum that's even, and even the slightest bit can turn the tides.
perfect. Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, a question coming from Kabata says, what's your favorite cheese?
My favorite cheese. Um, well, it's got to be pecorino. the Italian cheese.
Ah, keeping it in Europe, I see.
That's it. Yeah. Um, it literally just means sheep. So yeah,
Let me guess, it's a sheep's milk?
you know what? I don't actually know. I probably should know because it's like my ancestors and shit. But no, yeah, I probably should know, but I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, whatchamacallit, Lemon Lolly says, what was your favorite community slash group you've been a part of in 2B slash Constantium?
Wow. There's been so many. I would probably have to say the Valkyrians, or however you guys pronounce it. That was kind of the group that allowed me to meet so many people and spread out to so many other groups. So definitely that group, just purely because of the connections that it had, the good times we had, and most of the people that we kind of met back in
And
those
all the things
days.
it brought.
That's it, yeah. And just all the people that I met that I still speak to today. Yeah, I have a lot to thank that group for. So that's probably my favorite community, definitely.
It's good to have a community that have fun with. Anyway, you don't have to, you don't have to answer this, but Diggin Builder asks, what part of the UK you from?
I live in the UK. I'm not actually from the UK. So I'm Italian, and came to the UK when I was younger. So yeah, I'm not from the UK.
Oh yes. James, what's your opinion
Yeah,
on 2B2T and Anarchy clones?
on clones. Um, I think they're all shit. Would be if I'm allowed to use that language. I
Isn't
don't like.
Constantium considered a clone?
I have no idea. Like
Actually, I
at
might be
first,
getting a bit of trouble for
at
saying that.
first. So here's what I think of a clone. A clone for me is something that not only takes the exact same plugins as 2B2T, that tries to replicate the community of 2B2T, but then also has the same name as 2B2T. So when you've got something B, something T
Find me
that
90.
has yeah that has the same kind of chat that has to me that's a clone. Um, I get that they're profiteering off the fact that 2B2T is so full. But for me, who just wants a server that is kind of clean, I'm not a fan of that kind of clone place because you've got TP and other things that just aren't Anarchy in my eyes. I guess everyone's got their own opinion. Everyone feels differently about it. But for me, yeah, I'm not a fan of the extra plugins and stuff like that. I think with Constantium, it was definitely created outside of 2B2T, but I think the fact that a bunch of 2B2T people joined it, it definitely shaped it to be very much like a clone.
Thanks for that. The last question I think is going to come from Lemon Lolly saying, do you think Constantium has a more mature audience?
Um, Yeah, I mean, now I'm not too sure, purely because a lot of the players are there while they're waiting in the queue for 2B. But definitely overall, I think that it does have a more mature audience. Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of people there that were kind of a lot further on in life, I guess, than the average 2B2C player these days. So kind of the conversation kind of lent that way, and um, but then at the same time, there wasn't as much griefing, and a lot of people had a problem with that. Um, yeah, I guess it's give and take, but I think overall, yeah, it did have a much more mature audience on Constantium compared to 2B.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You got a few final words to say to the community or the people out there?
Yeah, I mean, just carry on the good work, I guess. Although I don't play anymore, every now and then I do check the 2B subreddit, and I find some things hilarious. I like kind of following on some of the drama that's going on the subreddits. Some of the memes that are going around on the subreddits are pretty good. So yeah, although I'm not playing at the minute, I still feel like I'm very much kind of carrying on with the community from the outside, maybe. But yeah, no, everything I see is great.
Well, thank you so much. We thank you so much for being part of the Anarchy podcast, James, and we'll all feel so grateful for you to be on here. Anyway, I've been your host, Super. If you'd like, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. If you'd like to be part of the discussion, don't forget to join the Anarchy Podcast Discord, link in the description. I'm your host, Super. With me, we've had James Rustles, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Fuck my friends, they're gone. They all left one by one. And now the summer's done. They don't need no more fun.